Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one ring, let we rule them all. Hope fruit, remember your cows. Get your ulu feathers and your middle guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword +1. Use Valerian steel, it will get you to come. To the pit, tank. To the pit, tank. The Rocky Mountain pit, tank.
Hi, I'm Guy.
Hi, I'm Troy.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And this is Geek Tank.
The Alex's Cameras being a jerk-sized podcast.
Fuzzy Alex. Fuzzy Alex.
Well, Alex is always fuzzy.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Hey, Brent. Welcome to the show again.
Hey, Brent. All right.
So what's blown up today?
It says my phone beeping.
Oh, man, Hades 2 came out.
What came out?
Hades 2.
Oh, I missed Hades 1.
Oh, I haven't played it yet either, but it's been on my radar for a while, and it is. I own it. It's just one of those games I haven't gotten to yet. It's one of the new generation of roguelikes. Came out a few years ago, and it is apparently super fucking awesome.
Huh. Cool.
So
is it just the thing I'm looking at looks soft-shelled, but it's not gameplay, so I can't tell.
Yeah, it's like cell shaded, animated.
Yeah, cell shaded. Huh. Interesting.
But yeah. I predictably overdid it at the dojo on Saturday and overdid it at the dance club last night, so I'm tired and my back hurts.
Oh no!
So a lot of overdoed it.
No, I mean it is me we're talking about.
Also true. Also,
hey Bob, welcome to the show.
So that's awesome.
So when you say roguelike, does that mean like stealthing or?
No, there's an old computer game from the way back BBS days called Rogue, and Rogue was it was mostly randomized, permadeath were like the hallmarks of it.
Huh.
And then there's other games that came out that were very similar. It was all like ASCII characters, and you just sort of like try to get as far as you could before you died. Current roguelikes are the more or games with roguelike elements, or what are called roguelikes. They things will be randomized, but usually not completely randomized. There's like stuff that's a little bit that's pretty standard in whatever areas you're in, and they often have some kind of way to save at least some of your progress between between runs. But it's still the expectation that you will die a lot. And such. So
cool. So it's unforgiving.
Yeah, until you start learning how things are, how different enemy movements and such.
Sure.
Get progression toward other things, other like upgrades and such that can be permanent as well. And yeah, like I said, Hades is supposed to be really, really good. Like you play like the son of Hades and you're trying to escape the underworld, and of course, so you die a lot.
Guys, what good's the game if you're not dying a lot?
Yep.
What's good the game if all you do is resource management?
I don't know. I like resource management.
I like dying a lot.
That's fair. Actually, was not supposed to sound like a snark to you.
But no, I'm just saying.
Comments.
Yeah, no, there's all sorts of games that Yeah, it looks like there's many other games out there.
Looks like it's fast-paced, lots of quick movement, a la what I equate to the way Smash Brothers combat goes, because lots of explosions and things moving all around the screen, which I've discovered is hard for me to keep track of sometimes. Which guy was I again? Grandpa Troy doesn't know. Is he the pink guy or the other?
I died again.
Am I the other pink guy? I can't tell. You're the pink guy that eats a lot of stuff, not the pink guy that sings and makes people sleep. So I got an insane amount of applause at class yesterday. So I was totally not expecting it, because I guess I'm jaded to my own skills. But I pulled off a magic trick, as I often do, because that's why I love Class 6, because we talk about deceptiveness of your eyes tricking you and
Right.
road illusions and such. So so I've got this card trick I do, and it just happened. I don't want to give away too much magic stuff, so I'll just say that part of the trick I was doing involved a bit of setup. And after the setup was done, you can't go back and undo the setup. The setup's there.
Mhm.
And then the part of the trick that leads up to you utilizing the setup didn't go right for me. And I'm like, dang it, what am I going to do now? But luckily, the card that was picked, which wasn't the card I had intended for the person to pick, was in the same suit and was a number. And it was a number higher or higher than the number that I had set the thing up for. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got how I'm going to do this now. So I wait the appropriate amount of time, because you have to wait an amount of time so whoever's witnessing the trick, which is all the kids, they can't put two and two together and see how obvious it is that you did it, because the thing you did way earlier.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, okay, here's the trick. Now I'm going to show you. I get the feeling that this isn't going to work right. So just don't tell me what your card is, but just tell me if this is right or wrong. I got a feeling this is wrong. So I pull a card out and hold it up, and he said, yeah, that's not my card. I'm like, well, am I at least in the right suit? And at first I panicked a little bit, because they're like, no, it's not the same suit. I'm like, uh-oh, in my brain. But his neighbor's like, yeah, it is. That's the same suit as what you guys like. Oh, is that? Oh, okay.
What does suit mean?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so is the card I have in my hand lower or higher than what you got? And he's like, oh, it's lower. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to hand you this card. I'm not looking at it. Here you go. I'm like, I want you to think very, 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 very hard about what the difference is between the card I gave you and the card that you picked. And he's like, okay. So he's going through the steps. I'm like, all right, now look in your folder. So he picks his folder up off the ground, opens it up, pulls out the card that's the difference between the two cards. And he's like, what? I'm like, do they add up? He's like, yeah. And he handed them back to me, and I've got everyone's attention now.
Right.
So I take the two cards. I hold both of them up in one hand. I'm like, okay, so these two cards together equal the card that you chose, right? And he's like, yes. So I close them, and I make it look like I put it on top of the deck. Of course I don't. And then I slap the top of the deck and pull the top card, which is the card that he had picked. So, and then everybody's like, oh, and they all started applauding. And it was like loud enough that I'm like, wow, I did not expect this kind of reaction, because I've done similar tricks, but not to that degree of complexity. And usually people are just like, "Yay, that was cool," and that's like as far as it goes. So
That
I'm
was
waiting.
cool, but yeah, we've seen stuff like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping
We're jaded teenagers.
hoping lots of compliments get back to my boss, and my boss can be like, "Why are you doing magic tricks in driving school?" Or something.
Oh no. She will love that. She lets me tell stories. She lets me do all the things. She actually appreciated my trolling of her. She's actually pretty sweet. I like her.
But oh yeah, and we had a giant spider in the class, so some of the kids freaked out.
Nice.
And I got to do my whole, well, what are you going to do if you're driving and a giant spider drops on top of you? Because it can happen. And like, I guess I crashed the car and kill the spider with fire and take it out.
It's funny because that same, not that thing, but I was doing EDAP online, and I was the Rio. So Jake was teaching, and I was riding shotgun.
Mhm.
And so part of the job of being the teacher that ride shotgun is you keep responding to the chat. And somewhere along the line, Jake was talking about being in Hawaii, and one of the kids was like, had this huge cockroach in the car once. And I was like, well, and I typed in, to be honest, I think I'd crash the car for that. And he goes, that'd be a good reason to crash the car. I was like, given a choice, I am just that roach phobic.
At least it's on the outside of the car, Brent, and not on the inside.
Right?
So I was listening, I forget the podcast, but I tell this story now when I talk about not panicking. But the guy was talking about he got a rental car in Arizona, and while he was driving, he saw a scorpion crawl over his shoulder onto his arm. So he panicked and he squished it as hard as he could. The problem is he forgot to let go of the steering wheel. So he pushed his own arm down and the steering wheel down and drove himself into the median.
Nice. Yeah.
So
that's not good.
No. Yeah, he ended up in the hospital for a while with almost permanent injuries, but was able to recover. It's like, just roll the window down, stick your arm out, and take your arm off with a sign, and everything's fine after that.
Right.
So
For a scorpion,
Absolutely
that might be a
recoverable.
worthwhile trade. I'm just saying. It is my left arm. That's offhand. I don't need it to draw, so we're good.
Yep.
So
this coming weekend, there's some fan expo thingy coming up that's free. I was gonna look for it here because I saw the thing pop up. I'm like, oh, free is a good price.
free is always a good price. Yeah, so I don't have a lot to say at this moment because this is it. This is my last week of my first semester of school.
That means you have a ton to say.
Right? It's just none of it has anything to do with anything geeky. So there's that.
Anthropology is geeky.
Anthropology is super geeky. I have all kinds of stuff I have learned this semester. It was amazing. And somewhat interesting how it is changing my thought processes on stuff. So that's kind of cool.
I assume you're still kicking butt in the grades compartment.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, I haven't checked my grades today yet because, of course, they're still in flux until everybody's done slamming the grades down. But at the moment, it looks like there's nothing below 85%. And I think the 85 and the 88 will be coming back up once they finish grading stuff.
All right, I found it. So yeah, May 10th through May 12th this weekend. They don't have, it's not a full length con, which makes sense because it's free. 3 days only. May 10th is from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I'll be singing karaoke, as will probably both of you.
Yes, that's the battle plan.
Saturday and Sunday
karaoke
from noon to 6, it looks like. And full details and registration at Eventbrite, blah, blah, blah. So it's a free anime, horror, Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, and Harry Potter art and cosplay expo, Denver, at Embassy Suites by Hilton, Denver Downtown Convention Center. I'm not sure what group is throwing this together.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting
event by Amazing Art Expo. Have you heard of them, guy?
No.
But I think it's free because it's mostly vendors, probably. But still,
it's a geeky thing.
Mm.
And I'm not working this weekend, so that's the other cool thing is by just random fluke, I didn't get scheduled until the last week of May. So I'm going to be out of school and I won't have any work, which means I can actually effectively take a vacation, which I haven't had like a stopping point at all since January. So that's going to be nice.
Cool.
I intend to really buckle down on my comic book and see if I can't finish my comic book before we get out of summer break, because I want at least that episode done so that it can roll out the door. So that
Brent already called it before you said it.
Yep. Vacation, as I will be working on my comic book. It's exactly true.
Today is the 6th. Okay, cool.
So that'll be cool. Always a plus.
I was just quickly looking because I'm not sure what other geeky stuff's going on. I restarted Fallout 4, and it's been so long since I've played it that it's basically a brand new game. Because I don't remember this quest. I kind of remember this quest, but the things I'm remembering that I haven't decided how I'm going to deal with it yet, other than I'm leaning heavily towards just ignoring it, is they mixed in a little bit of tower defense in with it. Mm-hmm. And so the settlements that you go and help out, every now and then you'll get a distress signal. It's like, come help us, we're under attack. And you're like, as if I don't have enough side quests already to deal with, you're now giving me a side quest to my side quest. so I'm thinking about
going to have to go out and shoot some video per Brent.
Oh, Alex and I had an idea for this. I just
We
haven't gotten
do.
around to it.
Yeah, I mean, all of that. I like Alex's original idea too, but I still think it'd be funny if we still shot them in the same lighting and stuff like that. So that'd be kind of fun. So,
Well, you guys live close enough to each other. You can work that out.
oh come on, you're gonna do it too.
Yeah. Oh, in Inglewood?
No, you're
No,
not.
too bad. I'll be there in spirit.
Right?
I'm
Your
not
spirit
planning
won't
on
even
going
be here. It's
to.
too far away for your spirit.
Yeah, Alex will be there in spirit too.
Yeah,
He'll
I'm
send
not
you-
planning on going there.
He'll send you a cardboard cutout of himself.
Right? I just stick it places.
That's right, you do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wah, wah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to double check to see how long this sale's going. But Denver is running a point of sales rebate for e-bikes, meaning they will take the price off right there at the cash register. You don't have
Nice.
to do anything other than prove that you are actually a resident of Colorado. Here we go. So all Colorado residents will be eligible to receive this tax credit as $450 point of sale discount on qualified e-bikes. E-bike purchase from an authorized e-bike retailer through, 2032. I guess you got some time. But yeah, just call up the e-bike shop you're thinking of visiting and ask them if they're honoring that. And if they are, you could go in and shop. But that started April 1st. And I went and I bought an e-bike on Saturday.
You're gonna
Cool.
totally
Yeah.
drive it up here, or
No, it doesn't have that range. If they build a bike path from my place to your place that's uninterrupted, then maybe I would. But I'm not driving on the road with cars because I want to stay alive for a while.
for at least a day. Yep.
At least in my car, if somebody makes a mistake and I can't dodge them, I've got airbags and a seatbelt.
Right. That's fair.
True.
That is fair.
Besides martial arts, which I am including sword fighting and foam fighting in, the only other exercise-esque thing that I could do on a daily basis that I enjoyed was riding a bike.
Right.
And so it's been on my radar for about 5 or 6 years now to get a bike because we have some really nice bike paths around here where I live. And originally I wasn't thinking about an e-bike. I was just thinking getting a bike. And then one of Tara's coworkers said that I should get an e-bike because they're great. And she has one. I'm like, okay, I never thought about that. So I started looking into it more. And what really sold me on it was that hill coming up to my house from Target is a hill that I could have handled back in my 20s that I would probably be walking at that point. Star Wars saber fighting. It's all foam fighting. Unless you actually have a lightsaber.
Right.
Yeah, I like the sword fighting aspect of LARPing. The LARPing part was always just sort of a prerequisite to get to the sword fighting. Which, as an actor and entertainer, I enjoy that aspect of the LARPing, but I never got into it as far as advancing a character the way that that aspect I enjoy in tabletop role-playing games.
Sure.
But oh boy, if I get more experience points, I can level up my sword fighting skill, which is still just me sword fighting.
Right, but now you throw 5s instead of 4s.
Yes. Because
Yeah,
I
man.
love doing math while I'm hitting people with a sword.
Wait. I gotta think this through. 4, 4, 3, 2, 2. This is 6 points. Bap. That's funny.
So I'm guessing they were using those slightly sturdier sabers than the plastic ones that you buy at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, like the expensive fighting sabers. Yeah.
Yep. So
There's the whole Klingon group too that does their foam batleth fighting. Are they still around? I assume they are.
Nah, I don't, honestly, I was always only tangential to those groups. And yeah, I don't know if they are still around.
The only times I saw them was at
Mile High Con.
Mile High Con and possibly once at Starfest.
I feel like the Klingon groups were all still the same groups that also got drunk with what's his name from.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah, so
Yeah, the Klingon groups are always had giant drinking parties.
yeah,
But what Guy's trying to say is the actor that played Bortus in
Mortis,
Orville.
yeah, was supposed to. We were supposed to have a meeting or have him at one point in time, but
for an interview
for an interview that
on a
didn't work.
Sunday. But
On a
he
Sunday.
stayed up really late on Saturday drinking with Klingons.
And we kind of felt like that was fair,
he made several Klingons extremely happy. So
right? Yeah. So that works.
there's still episodes of Orville I haven't seen because they made new episodes once they moved over to Paramount. Was it?
I guess.
Wherever they moved to.
At least one Klingon house is still active. We got like a dozen or so posts in the last month or so. So yeah, cool.
Hulu. Okay. Yeah, I need to catch the episodes I missed because I really did enjoy that show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take my kid to this.
Oh yeah, GalaxyCon. I don't know. I didn't really hear about it, how well they did or not.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, they were successful enough last year that they will continue. So
Cool.
I will be at GalaxyCon.
It's a Galacticon, I believe.
All right, yeah, Galacticon. Right, because it's Galacticon. That's right. Because it's supposed to be a joke off of Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a Marvel villain called Galacticon too.
Galactus.
Yeah. Oh, that's Galactus. Okay.
Galactus Con.
So they haven't put out their new dates yet.
It's a Mario Kart style pop-up slide that's going to be coming to Mile High City this summer. So it's a go-kart track with Mario Kart theme.
Sweet.
But I don't see any turtles or bananas.
Right. My wish has not been granted yet.
Mm-mm.
Oh well.
Yep, that's a thing.
Since I'm just scrolling stuff for news purposes, October, Sisters of Mercy come to Denver.
Oh, again. Cool.
Ooh.
Saw them last year. Something like that. It was a fun show, though some people I know didn't like it. And I thought it was just funny.
But you liked it though.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah, I went and I had an extra ticket, so I took Tessa with me, and we had a really good time. And then when we were leaving, where it's all, we stayed for the encore, all that, and we were leaving, we were going back to the car, and we were watching all the people. I'm like, that was a good show, blah blah. And the people were like, some people we're talking to, like in this group, they were cool, but other people were like, it wasn't even the real Sisters of Mercy. And I'm like, yeah, it's not 1982. Not only that, but we stayed and watched the whole thing, and you're leaving with us, so you stayed and watched the whole thing too. So what the fuck, guys?
Yeah, don't like it, leave.
Yeah, it's like you're downtown Denver. You can go get a beer or pizza or whatever all over the place around here if you don't like the show. And he says like returning. I'm like, nope, you're way too Uber for me. You're so cool. Bye. Left. Like, I will now outpace you in my heels. It's like, goodbye.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's like, please, whatever. Then Goth's Takeover Lakeside is happening on the 18th. And let's see what else.
Britta's saying Lindsay Sterling's coming to Red Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've been following Lindsay Sterling on Insta, and they are brutal with her. Boy, they're just having a hard time.
You mean they were very
like
critical?
the people posting because she's looking older, as
Oh.
one does after
As they get older.
People get older, but she still is really awesome and lovely, and so I have no earthly idea what the problem is, but boy, they are harping on that, and she's like, you know what, keep harping. Kind of like, your tears feed my powers and stuff. I mean, like, she's just all about just getting I don't know, it's just so funny.
Good for her making fun of them. May she continue to do so.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
like, keep going. Aggravates me.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ageism.
I don't think I'm gonna live long enough to see that concept of the double standard of women aren't allowed to get old, but it's okay for guys to get old thing.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
know. I wish.
There's a really funny Amy Schumer sketch where they're talking about yeah, we're after we're after dark. I could curse.
Do it.
It's called
Great.
I'm gonna look it up just so I make sure I get the quote right.
Yeah, she's not old. She's 37. She's not old.
Right. But I mean, and she still looks great. That's the part that gets me. She's got a wrinkle or two, but she still looks awesome, you know?
Right?
Yep.
And
I'm
she
almost
is in
48.
far
I
better
look
shape
awesome.
than I am.
Whatever.
So I'm like, really?
Yep. So it's a sketch called Last Fuckable Day. And so it's
Oh, yeah. I love
Tina
that sketch.
Fey, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Patricia Arquette are having a picnic, and Amy Schumer happens to wander upon them and like, "Hey, I love all of you." It's like, "Yeah, we're having a little party here. Sit down with us." And it's like, "Yeah, we're having a party for Julia Louis-Dreyfus because today's her last unfuckable day." And it's like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Oh, well, you hit a certain age where Hollywood just won't cast you as anything other than like someone's mom or grandma." And
Grandma.
and it's like it's really well done, and it hurts because it's the truth.
Right.
Set out. But yeah, you could catch it on YouTube if you want to look it up. She's one of those comedians where some of her stuff hits really well for me because, of course, subjective, and some of the stuff I'm like, I'll keep moving because I'm sure I'll hit one that I like. But she has a better success rate of funny sketches than Saturday Night Live does. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty much, if it's not the Andy Samberg stuff, I'm not that interested in it.
I didn't
Speaking
even know
of,
well, now that we're still doing the Saturday Night Live.
I think they're not consistent, but they have stuff pop up every now and then.
All right.
But it's each week they will have their team make a movie type thing, so it's a slightly higher quality than what's happening on stage,
Mhm.
and so they'll crank one out, and those are usually consistently good because they put the time in. That Natalie Portman rap,
Mhm.
that's one of those.
No, I'm quite familiar with The Lonely Island.
Okay,
I own like their first 3 albums. Yeah, we've karaoke'd their stuff before.
right.
Together,
But it's not just Lonely Island. It's they
Okay.
do have others. Like they did a Wes Anderson. What if Wes Anderson made a horror movie, kind of thing?
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so they put a higher quality in it. So Edward Norton was playing the guy that's always Wilson. Is that his name? No, I've forgotten his name. It's Tears. I'll find it here real quickly. Owen Wilson. So Edward Norton was playing Owen Wilson, and he did a really good impersonation of him.
I love that kind of stuff. But, sorry, I distracted you from sponsorships.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
we missed it by 1
Wait.
minute.
What?
Man.
There's no choice but for us to have to tell you guys this very important piece of information that I'm waiting for Troy to push the button.
I was waiting to make sure you weren't going to hit it, because if you hit it at the same time, then it would go away.
Because otherwise, we wouldn't say that Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, The Massage Wizard, and
Your mom.
Your mom. I'm
just saying.
Now my camera's doing the fuzzy thing. It's just lighting. Boop.
So there you go. We are what we
are.
cool.
It is what it is.
It has been a long time since I've bought any plastic figures from our sponsor.
That's true. I believe I bought plastic figures from just like last week. No, I bought or last con. I bought old Magic cards because he had really old Magic cards.
Like singles or?
Well, I mean, like just our original era Magic cards, so I bought a whole bunch of Howl from Beyonds and things like that because someday I'll rebuild my original green deck with the Howls from Beyonds in them.
That's
So
what I
I
mean.
thought that was a cool
Singles.
deck.
You bought individual cards.
Yeah, singles. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Singles, yes. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've got a couple of booster boxes that I plan on some point doing a party where we do some sealed play.
Cool.
So, because I like that, where it's
Yeah.
like we all have very limited resources to battle with.
Right. Yep.
Almost finished with oh no, I did finish season 2 of Only Murders Only in the Building, and we did not start season 3 yet, but it's a fun show. I'm enjoying it.
That's fair.
I'm not sure how much of it's just like nostalgia of really liking Steve Martin and Martin Short, but for whatever it is, it's enjoyable, so I'm still doing it.
Cool. Right on.
Also perfectly reasonable.
So interesting game mechanic stuff came up related to the D&D game, that the whole it sent me down a rabbit hole trying to find the rules for it, and it's one of these. This is a clear point where the rules break the fourth wall really heavily, and it is to give a little bit of a setup, a guy's character was just engaging in a fight with someone and used polymorph to turn him into a turtle.
Yay!
And the character that the other NPC there, it made sense that, I have the next turn. I can easily revert this by hitting the turtle and turning them back into who they are. Because if you're not familiar with D&D, once whatever the thing's been polymorphed into hits its 0 hit points for whatever it is, so like a turtle having like 4 hit points, then they turn back into their original character minus any additional hit points over that 4. There's also a rule in D&D that says when you make an attack, and it's unspecified in the rules, so it's basically GM's call as to whether you have to declare you're going to do a non-lethal attack before you roll the dice, or you're allowed to do it at the time of determining you took the character to 0 or below 0 points. The way it's written, you can interpret it either way. Regardless, that's not the super important part here. The important part is if you do a non-lethal attack on a polymorph character, when that polymorph character hits the critter hits 0 hit points, it's unconscious. Once it's unconscious, and because it's at 0 hit points, it reverts back into its original form. Its original form is not at 0 hit points, so it cancels out the state of being unconscious. So it's like a really easy way to get around polymorph.
Right.
And the question is, shouldn't there be some kind of delay or penalty to it, like missing the next turn or something as they wake up or such? And online, it's one of these rules as written, no. So it's got to be one of these rules. The rule of cool needs to override the rules as written.
Mm-hmm.
But going through all of that, it occurred to me that there's a better choice of what can be made here, and then I can just avoid all this crazy rule stuff. A much better storyline choice that the character should make. So, which I need to talk to Guy in private about.
In
Ooh.
private.
Yeah.
I guess I should leave
Yeah.
then.
Get out of here.
I'm tired of my
Yeah, I
back
mean
hurt.
I was having sort of a problem with all of it because this actually is the second time she's used polymorph and done this, and the second time that the creature committed suicide so it could undo the polymorph. And I was like,
first creature didn't intend to commit suicide. It just it couldn't fly, so it fell into Kevin's barbed spinning blades of death.
right. But it still became one of those. This is the second time I've used it, and the second time that the answer was to drop it into a thing, thus it pops back, and then Zot's Ivy for it. And so it's like, maybe I don't want to use this anymore. Maybe this isn't a good choice.
Yeah, you got to have that whoever goes next teamwork.
Yep.
Put a cage over it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but of course that never happens in our battles. It's always Who goes first? Oh yeah, Ivy's got the highest dex, so she goes first. So can anybody else help me? Nope, not in time.
No, I got my own plan.
Yep.
Because we didn't discuss this before the battle. I'm running over here, and this character's going to shoot stuff, and this character's going to steal stuff. Because we're such an awesome team and use good teamwork.
Yep.
And there's this whole thing called holding your action. That if you need to set something up, then it doesn't matter what you roll. You can wait and have players act in the turns that work best. So if you need that buff, don't run in an attack. Hold your action until your bard buffs you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we still have our little crawl going on for advertisements.
Yep. They get bonus crawl points because we were late.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll decrawl them.
The crawl. The crawl. But yeah, I guess that's the thing, I guess, that keeps polymorph from being broken, is that it's easy to get out of.
Right? Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Definitely a departure from, like, I don't know, from I guess original sources. You know, fairy tales, people get transformed into things, and you know, just bap them around a little bit and they come back. Like, I'm a frog. Yep, you got a frog hit points too. Look out.
I gotta get a kiss from a princess. No, you don't, smack.
Smackola. See, you're fine.
That'll be interesting. You're gonna finish your end game there. Kind of. We gotta think about that. Someday we'll have to finish ours too.
Yep. I think part of that finishing our game is started last session.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Just things I brought up in conversation about the game before. It's like, yep.
And it's gonna probably end up with my character getting killed or something. So it's gonna start here soon.
Well, I mean, in this instance, it looks like it's gonna be Ivy and Nilthin and Yale.
Yep.
And then depending on what happens where we're at, we're gonna get wiped.
Right? TPK. TPK.
But written in. So.
Yep. Should be interesting. Always is. What are we doing? So let's see.
Yeah. So since our 2 viewers on here, even though it only says there's 1 viewer, which is weird, with Bob and Brent. Bob, I definitely know you've played lots of D&D. Brent, I'm not sure of your D&D background.
I know he plays role-playing games.
Yeah.
He's in our role-playing group.
So what's a little ambiguous about polymorph, and I'm curious of your opinion on it since you're here, is should the target of the polymorph have any kind of ability to think in the way that the thing it was before? So, because the way it says it assumes the stats, which means although you may be a sword fighter and understand how sword fighting and tactics works, if you're turned into a cat doesn't understand sword fighting.
Right.
And wouldn't necessarily know what it needs to do in a situation. It might recognize, oh yeah, this is a person that I like, and that's someone I don't like. But
so I'll hiss a lot.
I'll hiss a lot and scratch them or run away. That'll pretty much be their only choices. But if you were able to think properly, then you could come up with slightly more complex plans. This came up a long time ago, and I can't remember who. I think it was Ivy, or it was either Ivy or Drayden. I can't remember, but they were falling towards the ocean, and so they shape changed into a bird, and then
It was Ivy
because it's a concentration.
She polymorphed herself into a bird.
It's a concentration spell, so then the question becomes, can you hold a concentration spell if you have the IQ of a bird? And we decided for story purposes it was funny if you couldn't, so that way for a brief second Ivy's a bird and stops her fall, but then turns back into Ivy and then falls in the water.
Yeah, although that does mean that you just reminded me that of all 3 times she's used polymorph, it's been completely useless.
I don't think that was specifically polymorph. I thought that was some other shape changing spell.
No, it was polymorph because you can polymorph yourself.
I mean, it kept you from taking fall damage on the water, so I wouldn't call it useless. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that it should be you retain your intelligence and can make intelligent decisions. It's just one of these things where if you don't have thumbs, you're not going to be able to do things very well. And it makes sense that it would be able to do that so you can maintain your concentration.
Right.
So, that's the direction I was leaning. And when it came up with the bird part and we couldn't find an answer, the only reason we made the decision we did at that time is because it was funny.
Yeah.
And then later on, it was like, I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
We
Also,
just have
there's
to
like
figure it out.
game and character. There's like in Earthsea, if one transforms oneself into some kind of animal, then one typically slowly becomes that animal. If you spend too long as that animal, you can't really turn yourself back.
Right. More of a
But
threat because of that.
But then we're running into like more Dale Kingsmillion world building and play style, which is vague and evocative, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't think it was polymorph because polymorph's not a concentration spell. At least not from what I'm seeing here.
Thought it was.
And
then if you concentrate on it for like more than an hour or whatever, then it becomes quote unquote permanent.
See if I can find another source. Time casting 1 action, range 60 feet, target a creature that you can see within range. Verbal, somatic, and materials. Duration. Concentration up to 1 hour. So as long as you can concentrate up to an hour. Okay, so the official D&D thing that I was looking at didn't list concentration on it, but the Roll20 one has it, so it is concentration. Yep, 4th level spell.
Yep.
Cool.
A living disintegrate spell, but they're level
Living polymorph.
15, so they can handle it.
Yeah, because you're like those are like the living spells out of like Eberron, right? Sounds familiar.
I haven't heard of those before.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I'm sorry, guys. I'm fading out.
Oh no. Well, we're only 15 minutes away, so that's cool. And you've been up
You
late.
can go away.
Yeah,
We
but
love
now you
there,
two can
Alex.
talk
See you later.
about the game with Bob and
With Bob.
and Brent to see what you should do about Ivy's character.
Ivy. All right. Good night, man.
Bye
Be
bye.
Good
safe.
night.
Nice.
Short.
And then this will all be documented so people can go back and listen to it. So it's not really a private conversation. But
Right.
but
If you don't believe us,
it's
you
not-
could listen to it here.
yeah, it's not like it's that big of a secret thing. And I also need to pre-warn James and Anna to not spend a ton of time trying to figure out how they're going to fight your mom.
My mom.
But it occurred to me it's way more in character for your mom
My mom.
to wait and see what you do. Because
Yeah.
she would actually be impressed that you attacked before being attacked.
Yeah.
Because that's showing that you aren't the pathetic little fluffy puppy that she was worried you were.
Yep.
But yeah, you kill your sister, you get the throne.
True.
And it's turning towards a dark side that
That she's after.
that's that your mom wants you to be, and you've already got some darkness in you that you don't want or
Yeah.
100% fully realize because you've been hanging out with Carissa.
Nothing has happened there. Caused trouble.
But yeah, I was thinking I think it would be cooler for her to wait and see what you do, because it's a lot more like I'll think of her name in a minute. I'll know by looking it up.
Well, I can do something if you can give me another turn before, Lily decides to run into the lava and pop herself back or whatever. I have actually the ability to do something which could change the way that this game goes. So,
what is it?
Mage Hand. I can pick up the turtle. That was my thought. Provided the wild magic doesn't do something stupid. But if the wild magic doesn't do something stupid, then I can Mage Hand pick her up, and then we can try this whole, do this or I'll throw the turtle into the lava, and the mom can go, yeah, do that. No, really, do that. No, that'd be fun. Do that. Do that.
Is your intention to win? Or are you just going to not do anything? And
Right. Because that could then be that part of the discussion in the story right there.
But Nebula and Gamora's relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we haven't been exploring.
We haven't been. And wait. Which one is Ivy?
That's right.
Ivy's more Mantis, I think.
If Mantis was in that mix somehow.
Right? If Mantis was in that situation.
Yeah, I could see Thanos being pretty upset if one of his daughters was Mantis.
Right? Why are you such an idiot? That'd be awesome. So what had happened, Bob, was that we got transported to another dimension, and it was, or another place. We got transported to another place, and now I'm facing off with my evil twin sister, and her thing was we have to fight to the death. So Ivy used polymorph and turned her into a turtle, which, if nothing else, bought Ivy time. And the problem we ran into was that before the next turn, the mom, mom, who was standing behind the turtle, had the next initiative run and stabbed the turtle. So the turtle then turns back into Lily, and then Lily can do her action next. And we were like, well, that didn't do anything. I mean, she turns into a turtle and then gets stabbed, then Lily, zorches and kills Ivy or whatever. And so it's like, well, that didn't. What was the point of having that skill at all? So that was part of what was going on. But Troy is saying might be more interesting to see what Ivy does with the next phase on this one.
Yeah, because the mom would want you to kill her.
Very interesting also for you to work with Anna and James's characters. Because Ivy might just try to call it a stalemate and say, return us back or I kill the turtle. And of course the mom's like, do it.
Yeah, that's what you need to do.
Now we're stuck.
Kill the turtle and claim your throne.
Right, exactly. Kill your father and you will become more powerful and your journey to the dark side will be completed. Just like what's his name said. So that's so that was sort of
the first thing that occurred to me, because would have been that the character turned into a polymorph character had an easy way to do damage to themselves by just running over into some lava. And then it was one of those things where it's like, as the thought process was going through, it made more sense that her mom would attack to knock her unconscious and turn her back. But then after everybody had left, and I was thinking about it, I was like, no, actually, she wants to see which of the two of you kills the other one. And if you can kill her, then you win.
Right.
Then what Ivy wouldn't realize is that by killing her, she crosses a line.
Right.
That she might not be able to get back from.
Right. Which could be very interesting character-wise.
Yeah.
And of course, Ivy doesn't know any of this. And as Troy has learned, I love playing it whenever it's like, I know this, but Ivy doesn't. And I love playing it where my character's an idiot and does something dumb. Even though I know that that's not the smart thing to do, but Ivy didn't. So she does it. And what I probably will do now that I know this is I may roll the dice on things. You'll start noticing I'll roll dice and if I roll higher than an 15 or whatever, she does it, and lower, or I guess higher than 10 she does it, and lower than 10 she doesn't.
Mhm.
So it's just a 50-50 chance, because otherwise I can't trust that I won't try to save my character's life.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean the character's going to die at either outcome,
Well,
too.
Save my character for the heroic purposes is kind of what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you'll know whenever I'm like, I'm not sure about this, because I'll start pulling out the dice and start rolling them and be like, well, I guess she went stupid. On the path of good versus evil. But yeah, I like that a whole lot better. At least it makes her have something cool to do with a polymorph, which all she was trying to do was buy time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was intentionally what she was after, because she doesn't really have, she doesn't know what to do about this. But, after this, James and I were talking about it. And part of the problem is I know that she's a fire elemental creature. So I have given her fire weaponry. It's isn't it? It's 10d10 per round.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And then it's half because of the resistance.
It's half because she's a tiefling.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, that was the problem, is that she also is level 15, so, or equivalent. So she's not running around with 10 hit points. She's got something probably closer to 130 hit points. So she'd jump into the lava. The lava would immediately pop her back into her form, at which time, yeah, she'd take, but even at maximum, she'd only take 50 points of damage. And that's if we rolled all 10s. So probably she'd only take like 20 points of damage or something like that on average. So she'd come out of there just mad and slightly scorched. So that's the only problem with it. It's like, well, man.
Yep. The thing I'm most upset with is I forgot that you needed to roll on the random magic chart.
Yeah.
And nobody else reminded me. So,
well, I didn't remember either. And well, I did remember because Ivy assumes that things are different here, wherever here is, and that the wild magic's not going on. But as far as I can tell, it feels like the wild magic has just been ridiculously wild, no matter what you do. So you might as well just not even bother casting spells, which is what Ivy's been doing. But she has like a small dagger she can use that does 1d4. So that's what she's got for hand-to-hand if she doesn't use her spells. So once it was, all right, it's just you and me, and we fight to the death like civilized people. Ivy's like, uh-oh. I've got a knife. Let's see, you've probably got 150 hit points. That means we're probably gonna have to stab you a lot with this knife. It was kind of like, well, she knew she wasn't gonna. So with the wild magic, this is gonna be a thing.
So the if you're familiar with the spell plague from the history of Dungeons and Dragons, they've basically entered a second spell plague. So magic is not reliable and can go extremely poorly for everyone when they use it. The odds actually are they're more likely to be an okay or good effect than they are a bad effect, but the bad effects can be bad.
Yeah.
So whenever you go to cast a spell, any kind of spell, you roll 1 to 100, so percentile. On a 1, it is a very, very bad crit fail. There's no random. It's just whatever the worst possibility of it being is what it's going to be at that time. 2 to 7 is it's a bad random, and there's a whole random spell chart thing online that I use for this. So you just hit a button and it rolls it randomly. 8 to 25, then the spell just doesn't work. It just fizzles. And then 26 to 40, you cast a spell, but it's completely random, and it's whatever random spell pops up as long as it is within the spell level or below of the spell you're trying to cast. And then let's see, 41 to 45, you have a 50-50 chance of it being random, a 50-50 chance of it being success. And then 56 to 70, you have only for a 2 to 6% chance. You roll a d6. On a 1, it fails. Everything else, it succeeds. 71 to 89 is a straight up success. 90 to 99 is a success plus one other random spell, 1 level less rank. So it's, haha, I've cast Polymorph. And I made a bunch of sparkles.
Is it random what the other thing is?
Yeah, it's random, but it's just 1 lower spell. So if you cast a 5th level spell, it can be a 4th level spell that or less that comes out.
Yeah. So
And then on a 100, you cast the same spell twice.
you're double polymorphed.
Yeah,
You're now a turtle of a turtle.
right.
A turtle.
Which in that case, it's not all that cool. But had you cast Fireball, you doubled up the fireballs.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually kind of what I was thinking. Was it'd be cool? I mean, that'd be at least useful because it sounds like because see, I'm with Bob on that one. You know, it'd be cool if in that upper level there it wasn't just some random thing, so you create sparkles, but rather you could choose one other, because that would have helped me on this one.
No, you have to get 100, and it just doubles the spell because it's random. It's crazy spell magic.
I'm just saying that you know, so it's all negative effectively and neutral.
Yeah, what you need is another spellcaster, which you do have some in the group, and have one of them learn either Polymorph or Fireball, and you guys practice where the first one goes cast Polymorph and the second one cast Fireball.
Right.
If that's the combo you're trying to do on someone.
Well, that was the other thing that James and I were talking about.
Although that's not that awesome. It's not that different than just casting Fireball, because the hit points a character gets from Polymorph is in addition to their normal hit points. So you're really actually giving them a little bit extra less damage by casting Polymorph first and then Fireball. So if you did 100 damage and she takes half, that's 50 damage. But if she's got 5 points as a turtle, you do 100 damage, but that's actually knocked down to 95 because the first 5 has to kill the turtle. Then the 95 goes over to her, which is then halved.
Yep.
So that combo, not so great, really.
No, like I said, that was what I was saying before, is I picked Fireball because it fit the character, but really she should be firing ice because she keeps running into her own family. But I feel like that's taking player knowledge.
Fireball is going to be more useful down the road.
Yeah,
because you had
with the last few times I've been in combat. That's what James was saying. You seem to be often in combat with your own family, so you should probably use ice. But I'm sitting there going, then I'm back in that problem which I've often had, which is, do I make it work for the game or make it work for the character? You know. I'd rather make it work for the character and then, you know, hope for the best in the game because it fits the story better. But I understand where James is coming from. He tends to min-max games. And so, you know, he's going to make characters that min-max those things, which he does. He actually has you're going to have to tell him, by the way, he's building a plan for the mom character.
Yeah. That's why I said I need to let them know they don't need to put a ton of thought into this, because I'm going to retcon a different option. It still could turn out that they are going to need a plan, because if they just decide we want to combat, so therefore we're going to attack, we don't care what the story says.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to let them do that.
Yeah, except that they were attacking because she broke the rules. If she doesn't break the rules, they don't have a reason to attack. So we are out of time, though.
Yep. I was looking at what Bob was saying there.
Yep.
Cool. Alrighty then. You got to go draw.
I got to go draw. Actually, I'm working on a 3D model, but I got to go 3D model.
Yep.
So I will talk to you later then.
Thank you, Bob and Brent, for showing up. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's good to see you guys. But unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. I've been Guy.
I've been Troy.
And this is Geek Tank.